Hi, we are at India Plus Social Good, where we've just finished a session on using innovation for social good. And I have two of the panelists here with me. And I'd like to start by asking Farhan what his takeaway from this session was.
To me, Kuku, I think the biggest takeaway was that innovation is going to definitely drive social good. But most important is the entrepreneurship in people. And that is something that is missing today. So without that, definitely innovation will not get scaled. And I think that's something that I want to take back, that a lot of foundations, a lot of corporations, as well as non-profits are all working towards the same goal of creating more entrepreneurial.
So you're saying entrepreneurial thinking more than corporate kind of thinking, Farhan?
Yes, it is, because corporates eventually end up thinking P&L, quarterly results, shareholder value. I know there's a lot of discussion at the corporate boardrooms about, CSR, but really it's a discussion. Very little gets done. I'm hopeful with the 2% CSR that India passed a new bill in Companies Act. A lot of attention will be given. But to me, it's about actually doing something about it. Now, we all see beggars on the street. We all see transgenders knocking our windows at the door. We don't do anything about it, right? Give them 5 rupees, give them 10 rupees. That's not going to solve the problem, right? What we really need to do is go out there, create employment opportunities, create opportunities so that these people can live dignified life. And I think that will bring innovation to the country.
Thanks. And Suman, would you have, what has been your takeaway on, you've worked in the Rockefeller Foundation with a lot of marginalized communities. So what would you say that how can they be helped?
So I think one of the main takeaways for me was around the importance of partnerships. So one of the comments I think all of the panelists made is that not one sector is going to be able to solve these really challenging social issues. So bringing together a variety of sectors, but understanding what is the comfort level of each of these sectors, and how do you continue to push the envelope on issues of equity and inclusion, so that if you are using market-based solutions, innovative solutions to scale up, you're ensuring that the poorest aren't left out. So I think that's from a foundation's perspective, and from also I felt was echoed at the panel, what's really an important takeaway from the innovation conversation.
So Suman, are there any examples you'd like to share with us on how such partnerships, how this intersection can really happen?
As I mentioned on the panel, one of the initiatives that we're working on right now is really focused on scaling up energy access for poor communities. So how can we support energy access, build the market for that, for these alternatives to grid electrification, but also take on the risks that the private sector is unwilling to take on, so to kind of continue to push the equity angle and ensure those who are left out do get access.
But Farhan, I mean, all this sounds like so long term. Will this ever happen?
5 years ago, if I were to tell you that you will have a mobile app which will tell you where you are in which part of the world, and also tell where which friend is around you in this hotel, you wouldn't have believed me. You said I was joking. The pace at which technology has moved in the last 10 years, connecting 287 million people in India on cell phones today, I can see this happening in the next 3 to 5 years. I shared on the panel that some of my friends in Silicon Valley have come up with an app where you can cough on a phone, an app, and it will tell you whether you have malaria. And if you spit on the phone, it will tell you whether you have dengue. Now, can you believe that? Imagine what it will do to the rural India, where there is no pathology lab in a small village where people die because of tuberculosis, dengue, malaria, even today, and they don't even know what they're suffering from. And because they're connected with a mobile phone, and if they have an app, that will make a huge difference in the quality of life, the healthcare, the energy sector. So I think technology is really going to drive. Yes, it's important to partner. Yes, it's important to, keep the people together, because I think transformation will only take place when the youth in the country decides to do something about it.
Would you have something to say on that, particularly the youth part that Farhan mentioned?
You know, a part of it is taking action, and when I talk about these mini grids, and it's not a far-fetched idea. There are actual mini grids that are set up where you have communities paying for and availing themselves of affordable energy. And one of the things is, when I mentioned on the panel, is how do you get distribution networks going? How could you get youth and other communities people in communities to be involved in these distribution networks, create a whole new business sector for energy in rural settings. So that's sort of one of our visions and desires in the years ahead.
Sounds very heartening. Thank you very much for your time. All the best.